Hi, Eva Vlaskova here. As I am in this phase of taking time off in really focusing on my self-care, frequently I find myself mentally going through my experiences, and then I kind of thought like, if I have only few years left, let's say, which is not the case, but if I would have only few years left, what is it that matters the most to me to do? And the first thing that comes, it's the phrase pass it on. All that my journey have brought to me, all the understanding, all the traps, kind of like in the style of an early reporter from the battlefield, taking account of how bad can it get, what it brings, how you unwrap the blessing from it, and how you make it to the other side. And all that requires many stages and lots of time. So whoever you are, if you resonate with me, if my sharing can help you, I have fulfilled my purpose and my experiences were not in vain. Today I had some memories coming back to me from one of my many ayahuasca journeys, and I remember this scene of where I connected with all the emotions I have never even felt, because for a very long time I believed I could not cry. I did not know how to do it. It was so blocked, so locked away from me. I believed not everyone needs to cry, not everyone is able to do it, until that specific journey with ayahuasca, where I got so overwhelmed with all the pain that I was suddenly put in touch with all at once, and I connected with that little vulnerable girl, that part of myself that I never allowed to express all that pain, all that fear. She was sobbing internally all these years, and suddenly I became that little girl, and it was so heavy, the weight of all the tears, all the pain that suddenly came on me out of nowhere. Well, from within, it was not from nowhere. I remember I was on the floor, and suddenly I really needed to go to the toilet, and I had no strength to stand up. What happened is, this little girl, for the first time, had me as a witness of how she really felt and how scary it was for her. And suddenly I was there witnessing it all, and I felt in the trap of being dragged by that emotion deep within, and not finding way to recover my power of an adult person. I went into that powerlessness where literally I tried to get up. I would put myself on my fours, and my hands would just, my elbows would just bend. It was, yeah, it's interesting how now everything is coming back in a sense of revision. And what I'm trying to say with this sharing, it is very important that you feel it all in order to heal it. But as well, it's very important to stay in your own power. Do not allow that pain to weight you down so much that you cannot stand up or keep your back straight. If you reach the point where you cannot carry your own weight, you already went too far. And the recovery can be very long if you resist to abandon the embodiment of the wounded version of yourself. Yes, you've been wounded in the past, but each day, each new present moment, it's completely brand new, has nothing to do with the past. And yet, we keep recreating the present with the building blocks from our past experiences. What a paradox, right? The games of the mind. And if you keep doing that, of course, that's the building blocks you are using to create your future. So eventually you're gonna have to confront yourself and ask yourself when it's enough, when the healing journey ends, when you stop focusing on healing that wounded part in you and start focusing on building that better future, not only for yourself, but also for that wounded, vulnerable part that's still crying maybe within you. So as I'm feeling now physically so weak, somehow I connected with that memory where I felt that weakness. So even though I resolved all the pain, I cried a lot. I did cry a lot to release it, and I embraced it. But as I was crying and shedding and embracing and accepting, I was also already calling in the empowered version of myself, envisioning myself in the light of I am whole, I am perfect, there's nothing left to heal, and all is well as it is. Feeling it all, it's the key, and it's very scary. In my case, I needed my extreme ayahuasca experiences that forced me to feel. But it's not the ayahuasca what got me out of it. The ayahuasca brought it out for me. Never ever think, if you take any ancestral medicines or psychedelics, that you're going to heal. What's going to heal you is your intense internal work that's continuous, that's consistent, constant. It's not something you can really take time off from. It's adopting new way of being and being very true to your commitment, to your past, to your goals. So having very clear what is it that you're striving for helps you to navigate your journey, because you have it very clear why you are confronting yourself with so much discomfort, because the only way out is through. And you may not want to hear this at this point, but if you are experiencing it, if you are feeling it, you are ready for it. And not only that, no matter how big the magnitude of the pain, how overwhelming it may feel, it is exactly at your measure. It's tailored for you to put you exactly to the edge, not beyond. What puts people sometimes beyond is when they really stubbornly resist to really hold space for that pain, hold space for that vulnerability. And if you keep insisting in fighting, in rejecting, you're actually draining from yourself your vital force energy. You're losing your strength. And this is kind of like nearly equivalent to going into a battle when you're working on a shadow work, when you're bringing to the surface all that you have suppressed. So you really want to be as fit as possible. And that means do not oppose any resistance. Resistance is what makes you weak. Acceptance is what kind of like the wave comes, it holds you, takes you on a wild ride, and then just places you safely somewhere for you to rest, recover, and see yourself in a new light and embrace life from that perspective. And every time you do those rides, again, refocus on your values, on the direction you want to follow. Why is it worthy for you to go through it? This part is very important. So what is it that you hope to get on the other hand of your healing journey? And yet the healing journey never ends until the end of your life, but you will reach stages, as I did, where I fulfilled so many of my desires. I managed to accomplish and celebrate so many things that I have been manifesting in my life. It seems unbelievable to me, like when I started focusing on what I truly desired from my heart for myself, I still did not believe I was deserving of it, or that it was even achievable for me. And yet something in me refused to accept that as a reality. Something in me still insisted in going for it, and that became the main motivation for me to really put all of me into my healing journey. And then comes time where we need to rest, like in between stages, like little train stops, let's say. Life is this journey that goes through the hills, up, downs, and now and then we really need to get off the train and just make ourselves familiar with our new status quo. This applies to everyone. In my case right now, my station, it's called the station of self-care and well-being, and making myself physically strong, because it feels like I just came out of this never-ending battle that lasted decades. And like I made it to the other side and just shake it all off and regain my strength to continue on my journey and manifesting another beautiful things life has to offer, but now manifesting them from my new perspective, from where I am at today. Because every time we're focusing on manifesting something, we're always using as a point of reference our current situation or our past experiences. So when we make, or when you make such a big leap in life and you land into a completely new reality, for your mind, for your subconscious, it takes quite a while to really become fully familiar with it and start using that new reality as a new point of reference. And it makes lots of sense that this is what I need to focus on right now, because even if I would want to focus stubbornly on manifesting the next stage of my life, the next chapter, I would still be coming maybe from that part of me that was always chasing something, always running always with adrenaline super high, and now I'm learning how to actually be without those adrenaline levels being up at all, like how to make choices and interact with the world, or even relate to myself when my adrenaline is completely flatlined, and not having all this time these feelings like I have to nearly look behind my shoulder, what's coming, how do I prepare myself once that's gone, how that version of me is going to manifest my next chapter of life. And I cannot wait to see it. I can already start seeing small bits of it, because even if my brain is telling me right now I'm not doing much, just embracing this self-care, embracing this openness and vulnerability without putting my defenses up, I'm already manifesting much more calmer future, much more friendlier to my nervous system. So whatever it is, it's going to be perfect, and it's going to be exactly what I need. And yes, when I feel ready, I will be back working with my clients, and I'll be happy to accompany you, hold your hand, and walk by your side along your journey until you realize that you don't really need me, that all the resources are already within you, and that you are perfect the way you are, and that you're already getting there. Blessings.